everyone. Thanks for watching Peak Time. I'm Jack Peak, your host. Happy New Year. This one has to be better than the last one, especially now that a vaccine is available. But as we speak, COVID cases are increasing throughout the country and here on the Cape. The only thing increasing at a faster rate is the price of a home. It appears there's been a migration to the Cape, stimulated at least partially by the virus. People are bailing out of cities like New York and Boston after finding they can work from home anywhere. They're looking for safety, space to roam around, and lower taxes. Many have chosen the Cape. My propane gas provider claims that 85% of his seasonal customers are staying here for the winter. Homes are being snapped up at the asking price or even better and for cash. Real estate authorities claim sales volume is up 48% over last year. Median prices are up 20 to 40% and mortgage rates are great. The Indy's KC Myers described it as a rocket-fueled real estate market, although one problem is the lack of supply. What does this mean for buyers, sellers, and real estate agencies? What about municipalities? What about the average Joe? Most housing on the Cape, Outer Cape, is already unaffordable. How will a working person afford to buy a home? How many of these homes are being bought up by investors interested in short-term rentals? What's the impact on availability of long-term rentals? There's a completed so-called affordable housing project in Eastham, one in the planning stages in Truro, which is stalled a bit because of NIMBYism. There's another one on hold in P-Town due to a conflict with a proposed location for a new fire station. We'll be exploring all these housing issues this season, but first we'll take a look at this hot real estate market and discuss the impact on our quality of life and perhaps come up with some advice for buyers, sellers, and renters. Our guest today is Rose Kennedy, an experienced real estate professional from Kinlan Grover, one of the biggest agencies on Cape Cod. Okay, so folks, thanks for watching Peak Time. Thanks for tuning in. We're here with a real estate expert today, Rose Kennedy from Kinlan Grover, which is, I think, one of the biggest agencies on the Cape, correct?
Yeah.
Rose?
Yep.
And
Yep.
you have, I understand, what, about 24 years experience in real estate?
Yeah, 24 plus, yeah.
Okay, all on the Cape?
All on the Cape.
Are you originally from the Cape, or are you a
No,
washer
originally,
shore?
I'm a Washer Shore.
Like most of us.
Yeah, originally from New York, but I landed here, after college and never left. So fell in love with the Cape.
Like we all did.
Yeah.
How did you get into real estate?
Well, I was in the restaurant business for years. Actually, Bubala's was my last restaurant. I was partners with John Yingling and Green Baring. And I had 3 children that I raised by myself, and they were teenagers. I needed to be home at night. And restaurant work takes you away at night. They were teenagers.
It sure does, yeah.
So I changed careers and got my real estate license and haven't looked back.
And one of your daughters, I think, is also a real estate agent now.
Yeah.
Marianne, I met her the other day.
Yeah, she's working with me now, yeah.
Rose is engaged in selling one of the condominiums where I'm the manager.
Yeah, yeah. Which,
anyway,
just that's an example of the market and how it's changed. That unit, which is a little over 200 square feet, struggled on the market for a couple of years. We've put it again, the owner called me and I said, well, it's an amazing market. Let's put it on at a higher price, around $239. It's a little over 200 square feet. It was gone in less than a week.
Wow.
Now, for years, I've had that.
On the market for a couple of years, yeah. 2 or 3 years, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And now and then people were calling constantly saying, call me if it falls apart. So it's quite amazing. This market is being fueled by the pandemic and the low interest rates.
Yeah, yeah, and the interest rates are fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's, I know you can't go by square footage for the value of a property completely because it depends on the locality and
Right.
the property, the quality of the home and all that, but the square footage, the
I mean,
price
some of
per
them are
square.
going, if you're looking at these small condominiums, they're almost $1,000 a square foot. You
Yeah,
know?
that one I think I figured was a little over $800 a square foot.
And so you're looking at that, and location, depending on where you are,
Yeah.
if you need water, if you're, in Provincetown, if you're on the west
How's
end,
that one compared to Provincetown? Let's say a condo the same size in Provincetown with the
that's
same
probably
shape.
twice as much,
Twice. Wow. Okay.
50%.
Let's talk about, my gas, propane gas provider said that he estimated probably 85% of his seasonal customers are up here for the winter.
They are.
Long
They
term.
are. I mean,
Finding
I live in Truro now. I lived in Provincetown for 20 plus years and I ended up buying in Truro. And it goes dark in Truro, as we know. By October, you drive around Truro and there's only a few lights on.
right.
Now you drive around, the back areas of Truro, the seashore, all the side roads, heading towards the water. It's all lit up now. There's traffic to get out onto Route 6
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Between the contractors that are building new condos or renovating condos or new product coming to market with plumbers, electricians, the highway is full every morning. And at night when they go home, it's full again.
Now we've got people staying up there, I think, that already have homes. These are their second homes, I think, and they decided they can work from home. They've learned that they can work from home. They don't have to stay in the city. And they're looking for a safe place, a place where you get some room to roam around without enabling you to do social distancing.
Exactly.
Those folks are here, but also people are buying, from what I understand. I mean, places are on the market going for asking price or better.
Yeah, there's usually, if a product comes to market, you're usually looking at 3 to 4 offers on a home. If it's, in Provincetown, you're guaranteed if it's in the right location, it's priced, well, renovated, you've got 3, 4 offers. I mean, I've never seen it like this. I mean, we had, when the mortgage market melted and everybody was buying because if you had a heartbeat, you could buy. They gave you a mortgage. This actually is people moving from New York City, from the Boston area, wanting a second home to be here and to be out of the cities. Our incidence down here of COVID is very low compared to the cities. So it makes—
Low but spiking.
Hmm?
Low but spiking now, from what I understand, relatively speaking.
Relatively so.
For the Cape, not compared to other places.
I mean, we're up between, somewhere between 35 and 40%. I think Kinley Grover's up 44% in sales from last year.
Last year, yep.
Yeah, that's huge.
I saw in this article, I think it was the one in the Indy, the median price of a home in Truro, and I'm not sure I quite understand the time it took to sign me, whether it's just in November, houses sold in November, or overall, was like 1.2 million.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple of years ago it was 800 and something.
Exactly. November, what happens is people think our busiest market is in the fall market.
Yeah.
Usually because people are coming up in August to vacation. They've been coming for years. They fall in love. But this is an unprecedented sale market, and it's really people moving from the city. And a lot of my clients are New York, New Jersey, Boston.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. My son is a software engineer for a startup company, a very big startup company. He was in Boston. He runs a team of 6 engineers. He moved home with his wife and baby, and I moved over to my fiance's house, and he's running his whole team from my house.
Wow.
And that's what is typical of most of the buyers that are buying and staying here for the year round, is that they're running their business from Zoom, as we are.
Let's take your son as an example. Is this a temporary thing, you think, or you
No,
think it's going to be?
he put in for full-time he doesn't want to go back to the office, what's it called. So and it's not only him, most of my clients are working from Zoom, and what his boss has seen, as well as everybody else, they don't need these expensive offices because they're actually running their offices and their businesses like this, and they're doing very well.
Yeah, my son is works for Capital One Bank, and he's been working from home since March, and he's planning on doing it pretty much permanently now because he found out he can.
Yeah.
And as a result, they live close to DC. As a result, they're starting to look at property in Northern Virginia, out in the countryside a little bit, because he knows that he can be successful working from home.
And
So it's not this COVID migration is not a myth. It's not a myth.
Oh,
it's
God,
happening.
not at all. Not at all. I mean,
you don't think it's temporary?
No. I think with the ability, there'll be a lot of corporations that'll go back to their buildings and once we have the vaccine. But there's a lot that realize they don't need these expensive buildings in order to run their businesses.
Does that part have an impact on any places on the Cape, like commercial property?
I don't do commercial. I think, residential has been the big boom.
Yeah.
I think our restaurants, our shops, I mean, we're hurting.
They're
I mean,
hurting.
I've been in the restaurant for years, and I know what it is to have your summers, because that is, that's what pays the bills. That's what gives you a profit, hopefully by January. And to have limited seating, I mean, it really has an impact on our commercial. You're seeing, businesses in Provincetown go up for sale because a lot of them will have no choice. You have to pay a big mortgage. Property has been expensive.
Property is expensive in Provincetown anyway.
You have a big mortgage, and plus you have employees, and it just food costs, taxes. I mean, I ran those businesses. It's a tough industry, and then to have your summer gone, it's.
Yeah, I don't know what long term what's happening in Provincetown with a lot of those restaurants. I expect that they're going to have a difficult row to hoe there. So the ability to work from home has been a big factor. People relocating. Talk about second homes. Are these second homes, or some of these
Our second
are
home.
moving there permanently?
Yeah, well, a lot of them have bought, this is their second home, but it seems to me they want the second home to actually use right now. Into this COVID, move. Some of them found out they can, like my son, can work from home and run a whole team, and he will stay. So I think that a lot of the city people are moving out, and you know what? We would probably do the same thing if we were in their shoes. It's a difficult time for everybody, and the Cape is, one of the most beautiful places that I know. So
it certainly is, yeah. And I think that's, there's room to roam around, plenty of room to get outside if you want to, and you don't feel trapped in a neighborhood where everybody's close together.
Exactly.
One of the concerns, of course, with all this is with the rising prices, the push increasing prices, which has been going on for years anyway.
Yeah.
But this really bumped it up even more.
It did.
Is affordable housing. How can the average person, the average worker on the Cape even afford a place to live?
Well, that's the thing. Because I raise children here, and my children are all at an age where my son is looking to buy a house on the Cape, and I'm a real estate agent, and I sell a lot of property, and it's every time we look for something, there's 3 offers on it, so he has the my house, which gives him some time to look. But in the past, I take a lot of his friends, which are all in their, mid-30s, and find, we look for houses. A lot of them have to go to Eastham, Harwich, because they're a lower price. But if you were raised down here in Provincetown, Truro, Wellfleet, the prices have gone, crazy. They're up 30 to 40%. So it's hard for a young couple now that grew up here even to buy here. They either have to buy a small condo or go up Cape. So that's had a big effect on our locals being able to find housing.
Exactly.
Whether they're buying or renting. So things that used to rent for year round are now, capturing this summer market. So it's changed the dynamics of, our workforce, looking for housing. And that's a big problem.
Yeah, affordable housing, there's some projects going, Eastham just completed a project,
Yep.
which is pretty nice. Of course, Truro has the Cloverleaf
Cloverleaf,
project that's tied up with a little NIMBYism or whatever you want to call it, but I suppose that'll get off the drawing board
Yeah.
and in action pretty soon. Provincetown's got a complex that's kind of on hold, waiting for decisions about, well, should the
Right.
fire department go there or should this affordable housing go there?
Right.
So these projects hopefully will get completed.
We've been fairly good at getting some affordable housing, whether it's Truro or Provincetown. And I have, being in a restaurant industry, those are the people that are usually renting. So affordable housing has been, single moms, restaurant workers, people that, don't have, like me, when I was looking, I couldn't find a rental. And that's why I ended up, beg, borrowing, and steal to buy a house. But, it's a real problem for our industries that need people here to work.
Now, how do you deal with that? You got a couple that comes in that's somebody's working for the town or, at a moderate salary.
Yeah, I had a
How do you
local
deal with that?
couple. His wife, their family owns a little restaurant, and the husband also owns a business in Provincetown. And we ended up, they were in a different market. And, we searched and searched and searched, and they ended up buying a piece of land, which cost them a couple of $100,000, and doing a prefab.
Wow.
That's how they got into the market.
Yeah.
But now with the market, rising the way it has, land is being bought up like crazy because there's spec builders.
Land is too.
Yeah, it's where our young couples were buying land and putting up, housing that they could afford. So it's a real shortage of inventory for, first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
That's disheartening.
Problem out here. Yeah.
It's a problem.
The other aspect of this is rentals, of course, long-term rentals. In your experience with this, not just with this COVID buying spree, but over the last couple of years, have you noticed or seen a lot of investor type buys for houses, for short-term rentals?
Well, we're seeing investors now because, the rental market is gone crazy.
Yeah.
So we are seeing investors investing in property or multifamilies, or, a lot of developers investing as well, and multifamilies, turning them into condos. And, so we're seeing both. We're seeing both. The rental market is surging, and summer, the vacation market, and also the condo market. So you have a multifamily that maybe housed year-round people. Now it's being bought up, they're being displaced, and they're being sold as condos. It's, that really is what's happening. It's a great real estate market, and, you can't fault an owner that's had a multifamily and now he can retire and sell his multifamily, and, so
A repeat of what happened with the cottage colonies, the conversion to condos.
Yeah, exactly.
The big concern some people are having is with short-term rentals, Airbnb type rentals, and people buying up homes because they can make more money on short-term rentals than they can on long-term rentals.
Exactly.
Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, exactly. That is our market.
How many homes do you think in Truro are investor owned?
Oh, geez.
Just,
I would say investor homes are probably 20%.
20, really?
Yeah.
That much? Yeah.
Maybe that much, 15, 20%. Most of them are second homeowners.
Yeah, we did a show recently on with people from BarnstableWatch.com and also a group out on Nantucket concerned with the Airbnb type short-term rentals ruining quiet neighborhoods.
Yeah.
The event type of houses, not quite as much of a problem out in Truro, I think, because it's a little more rural and spread out. So if somebody's having a party, you might not even hear it. But
I know, it's
do you
true.
have any experience with that?
we're our rental, our past rental market has been a lot of returnees,
Yeah,
families and couples that have been coming here since they were kids. Now they're bringing their
generations.
generations
Yeah.
loving the Cape, and that becomes our buyer.
Yeah.
The kids are finished with college, or gay couples in Provincetown. They're getting ready for retirement. They're two-income families. They're buying, and and they're making it their home, at least their summer home.
Yeah.
So it's just the pandemic has fueled the buying market, as well as the low interest rates, which are historically low.
They're down really under 3%.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost free money.
I can remember when they were 12 to 14%.
Oh my God.
That dates me, but
It's
that,
true. If people were going to buy now, that's why they're buying. They're taking their money out of the market, which they've done really well, and they're investing in real estate, because now real estate is the place to invest. If you're an investor, take some of that money out of the market, invest in real estate, and you have a good rental.
yeah.
Because people always come to the Cape.
Do you think there should be restrictions on those types of rentals? One of the issues those watch groups are looking at is you get these short-term rentals for 3 or 4 days, really event-type rentals that change the nature of a neighborhood. We got a group coming in every few days and partying.
We really have weekly rentals.
Well, I know you do. Yeah, that's kind of the traditional rental on the Cape, but there's more. We're seeing it in our condo now. A few of our owners, they handle their own rentals. Some of them are doing Airbnb, shorter term, 3 4 days, and it tends, not all of them, I mean, a lot of them are just regular people, but you tend to get more of the party event type of.
Yeah, let's go for the weekend.
That's there for a couple of days with that type of rental, I think.
Yeah, most of our homeowners don't do short term.
Yeah.
That's it. They won't do anything but 7 days.
Yeah, because these groups are looking for towns to put some zoning restrictions on where these places can be rented, and also on the length of time that they're going to be rented, because it seems to be an issue with them. What's your prediction for rentals? Last spring we did a show with Joan Talmadge from WeNeedAVacation.com, and we're right at the beginning of COVID, and we were speculating, well, what's going to happen to the rental market on the Cape? And people were worried. People were canceling at that point, and come to find out, I talked to her last month, and her business was up 70% for the summer.
Because that's what happened. Early on when COVID broke out, a lot of people were canceling.
Yeah.
But then come July, they were going crazy, the rental market. There wasn't any houses to be rented. I mean, it just like that went.
What do you expect this summer, this season?
The same. We're not. As far as vaccine coming out, we're not going to have it for a while. So people will still want to get out of the city.
Want to get out of the city and not fly somewhere.
But I've already had people, I'm sure if I talk to rental, they tell me they're already booking. I mean, they book early. People start calling January 1st. Yeah,
a lot of our owners have had the best season they've had in a while this past year. And
it's been an amazing rental season.
This upcoming one will probably be that. All right, we got to look towards wrapping up here, but obviously the market's pretty hot in real estate. You've got people coming in to list their homes with you, and you've got people coming in who want to buy a home. Let's start with the sellers now. It's kind of a market for them. What's your advice for a seller that comes in?
Well, we have a shortage of listings now. I mean, we really had unprecedented selling market. So now we have a shortage. How many houses are going to go for sale every year in a particular town? So there is a lack of inventory. Lack of inventory drives the market. So that drives prices. So if anybody's going to sell, absolutely, this is the time. We usually begin, listing property starting January, February, so people can be in by, spring, summer. So far there hasn't been a lot of new listings. They're trickling out, but we had such a volume of sales, there's a lack of inventory. So for anybody that wants to sell, now's the time, because the prices are being pushed. And so it's a great time to sell. If you're buying, you can expect there's going to be 2 or 3 offers on the same house. If
Yeah, let's talk about that. The buyer that comes in, they want to buy a house. What's your?
Well, I just had buyers. There was a house that came for sale in Truro, was on the market for a day. I called to do a Zoom or a FaceTime with my buyer. There were, I think, 8 showings that day.
Wow.
We put in an offer over asking. Great offer, cash, little contingencies, and we were, I think, 30,000 over asking, and we didn't get it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what was the price range? What's the range in that one? What's the price range?
That price came on at 800, a little over 800,000.
30,000 over asking, and you didn't get it. That means somebody else paid more than 30,000 over, I presume. And that was a cash offer?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So
And
what
there
can
were
you do?
I think 3 or 4 offers that day when I spoke to
So
them.
what do you suggest? What's your advice to the buyer that comes in?
They have to realize that they're buying at the top of the market, and more than likely, if it's a good location, a nice house, it's going to have multiple offers,
Yeah.
and they have to be prepared to probably go over the asking price. It just is. It's like the new norm,
Not everybody has cash, though.
No, but a qualified buyer with a mortgage is cash, but so is a mortgage.
They'd recommend people getting pre-approved, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
Ready to go.
absolutely pre-approved. Yeah.
Know what they want in a house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have buyers that, as soon as I see something come on, I'm on the phone with them. So it's a crazy market,
Yeah. Okay.
Not like anything. I've been doing this for, like I said, over 20 years, and I've never seen a market like this.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
Yeah.
What about renters coming in? You don't deal with renters
I don't
directly
know,
yourself,
but
but
that rental business is way up.
that's way up. Yeah.
And
I know
and renting into this in the off season as
I
well.
know there's a lot of people on the Cape that live here regularly. They move into one place for the summer and into a different place for the winter, and keep
Yeah.
juggling around because they
It's
can't.
usually our people that, that was me, that I was that person raising kids, and having to, I'd go to, my building would be sold or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been there in their shoes, and it's a tough thing, and that's why I believe in affordable housing, because without our workers, we aren't a town.
Exactly.
We need housing. So
The prices of what we're going to pay people to help us out are going to go up too.
yeah, exactly.
Landscaping, all kinds of services.
Whether it's electricians, plumbers that work for the companies,
Yeah.
your landscape people. I mean, these are all people that are usually renting. Not everybody is. Not everybody has a home. They're renting. So
Yeah.
a good friend of mine just lost his house because it was going to sell, and he was searching desperately. He did find a unit to rent, but I get calls all the time, Rose, do you know of any year-round rentals? Very hard to find now.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, we need to wrap up. Last words for our audience from Rose Kennedy, professional real
if
estate
you
agent.
want to sell, now's the time to sell. It's unprecedented. And, I think that we haven't seen this in all the years I've been selling real estate. So
Yeah.
it's a seller's market. And if you want to buy, get in there as quickly as you can, and expect you're going to probably be in a multiple offer situation. Unfortunately,
Tough
that's
situation for some people. All right, Rose Kennedy, thanks so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
on, and best of luck with the real estate. And,
Thank
we'll be
you.
talking to you. We'll see you around, I'm sure.
I'll see you around. Okay.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.
Yes.